sit back and enjoy.
In the cold silence of the tundra, a bond was born, not from treaties or trade, but from blood and bravery. While Germany controlled Europe, the Nazis set their sights on the Arctic. Greenland became an unwitting combatant, and the United States stepped in, not to conquer, but to protect. In 1943, nearly 1,000 American soldiers with 4 chaplains set sail from New York to Greenland, carrying with them hope, duty, and a quiet fear. But their ship was torpedoed by a Nazi U-boat, and the frigid waters of the North Atlantic became a grave. Those 4 chaplains gave up their life vests, giving their lives so that others might live. Together, Americans and Greenlanders stood as sentinels at the top of the world. But today, Greenland faces new threats, from Russian aggression and Chinese expansion. Our shared legacy lives on in every joint mission, every Arctic patrol, every partnership forged in the shadow of melting ice and rising tensions. This is not just history, it is destiny.
Liberation Day might be next week for most of us, but for Greenland, it's only a matter of time.
We need Greenland, very importantly, for international security. We have to have Greenland. It's not a question of, do you think we can do without it? We can. If you look at Greenland right now, if you look at the waterways, you have Chinese and Russian ships all over the place. And we're not going to be able to do that. We're not relying on Denmark or anybody else to take care of that situation. And we're not talking about peace for the United States. We're talking about world peace. We're talking about international security.
When you find a piece of real estate you like in this market, you don't wait. So Trump sent JD uptown to do a little shopping, but he forgot his jacket.
Room, that's Hey guys, how we doing? Please, at ease. At ease. Good Lord, sit down and eat. Sit down and eat. Don't let the Vice President stop you guys from getting your chow here. How we doing? It's cold as here. Nobody told me.
Greenland might not be the best place for a Trump golf course, but Silicon Valley and billionaires like Musk, Bezos, and Peter Thiel think Greenland's landscape will put us ahead in the AI arms race because we can park our data centers up there and keep them cool. It's not that far away from New York City, has minerals galore, and it keeps the Russians and Chinese from dominating the Arctic, the new superpower ice rink. But this isn't about being selfish. This is also about love.
Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people of Greenland. You have underinvested in the people of Greenland, and you have underinvested in the security architecture of this incredible, beautiful landmass filled with incredible people. That has to change. We hope that they choose to partner with the United States because we're the only nation on earth that will respect their sovereignty and respect their security, because their security is very much our security, as these brave Americans show.
This only ends one way. A big, beautiful flag planted right on the ice. Vance says military force won't be necessary, but just in case, Mike Waltz tagged along and Pistol Pete's staying fit. Here he is training this morning with our boys in the Philippines. Everyone's getting in fighting shape. And Kennedy's getting governors to appear on The Biggest Loser.
I said, you look like you ate Governor Morrissey. And there was a lot of talk about getting healthy again, and I'm very happy that he's invited me to be his personal trainer. I'm going to put him on a really rigorous regimen, and we're going to put him on a carnivore diet. We're going to make him raise your hand if you want Governor Morrissey to do a public weigh-in once a month. And then when he's lost 30 pounds, I'm going to come back to the state and do a celebration and a public weigh-in with him.
He's talking about the governor of West Virginia. By the way, if Mr. Morrissey doesn't think Bobby's serious, he doesn't know Bobby. Big Food's getting to know him, and let's just say he's not their favorite.
Food companies all came and met with me 2 weeks ago, and they're scared of me. What they said, and the reason they said, well, tell us what you want, and we're going to do it.
The Wall Street Journal spoke to 30 big food companies, and they think Bobby making America healthy again is a threat. The healthier Americans get, the less profit they make. The Trump administration isn't getting pushed around by big business. We want companies to make money, but not at our expense. And the same goes for other countries. We respect our allies, but they'll be made to respect us.
For 40 years, a lot of our friends all over the world have used America as a piggy bank. They have used us to absorb all of their excess economic production. What does that mean for Americans? For Americans, that's meant manufacturing jobs declining. That's meant middle-class wages going down. That's meant whole towns that have been hollowed out by empty factories. And that means an America that is less safe because our manufacturing isn't as powerful now as it was 30 years ago. The days of America being the piggy bank of the world, the days of closed factories, the days of people not being able to get a middle-class job in this country, they're over.
America didn't start the trade war. The world did. And we haven't even been fighting it until now. China knows it, Europe knows it, and so does Canada. And we love the Canadians, but they're fighting a war they can't win.
The Canadian leadership threatening retaliatory tariffs against the United States, as President Trump often says, they just don't have the cards. There is no way that Canada can win a trade war with the United States.
Moving from globalization to America first, where we make things in America, is the right move, even though it can look a little rocky. So hold tight. We're going to get a bang for our buck when we start buying American.
We're going to do something that has never been done in this country before. I'm very proud to say it was my idea. And so sometimes a simple idea, they say, how'd you think of that one? It's so simple, it was never done. If you buy a car in the United States that's made in the United States, if it's manufactured here, when you borrow money, if you borrow money, you have interest payments, we're going to let you deduct the interest payment for income tax reasons. And I think that's going to more than pay for itself.
Tariffs aren't a tax if you buy American. That's common sense. It's about time someone in the White House had it.
What is a woman, and why is it important that we understand the difference between men and women?
Well, it's sort of easy to answer for me because a woman is somebody that can have a baby under certain circumstances. She has a quality. A woman is a person who's much smarter than a man, I've always found.
Except for Hillary. She's back, and she's calling Trump world dumb. It's not the hypocrisy that bothers me, it's the stupidity. The Trump approach is dumb power instead of a strong America, using all our strengths to lead the world and confront our adversaries. Mr. Trump's America will be increasingly blind and blundering, feeble and friendless. Dumb power is fighting unwinnable wars, defunding the police and opening the border. Feeble's falling down and falling asleep. And being friendly to the world is what got us in this mess. We're not in high school. We don't need friends. Every country puts their interest first. And when our interests align, we can do business. And when they don't, that's life. If we have to burn down a few bridges with Denmark to take Greenland, we're big boys. We dropped A-bombs on Japan, and now they're our top ally in the Pacific. We may have to burn a bridge to build a big, beautiful new one to the next generation. America's not handcuffed by history. Trump knows what we need to do to make this century America's century. And he's tapping young talent like J.D., Hegseth, and Levitt to keep Manifest Destiny alive.
Many people told him that I was too young to have this position, and he told me, you're not. When I was 21, I was building buildings in Manhattan, and I believe you can have this job. So the president believes in the young people of this country, the future generations, the next generation of leaders, and he wants to leave the country better off for us and for our children and our grandchildren.
Taking Greenland. It's for the grandchildren. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.